Hi, I'm Andrea Jones. Thank you so much for watching our recruiting deck today for Andrea Jones Consulting. I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. Andrea Jones Consulting started in 2006. Originally, the business was just me, and honestly, it was a way for me to continue my professional career while having a family. We had this wonderful image done for us by a colleague, which really expresses our whole story, our full story. Andrea Jones Consulting believes that time spent working can change over life seasons. And through AJC, our amazing team continues to share our professional talents with the world. When I started AJC, I had just finished graduate school at MIT. I had come back to Portland, Oregon, where I had been newly married 2 years before, excited to start a family with my husband. In order to do that, I felt like I couldn't continue working a 40-plus hour work week. It wasn't going to fit within the life that I envisioned for my family. People have a lot of different reasons for wanting flexible, part-time, low time, no time hours with work. It doesn't have to be just for a family. In fact, one of the other types of people that work a lot with AJC are people who maybe are on the tail end of their career and they enjoy working and contributing to the marketplace. They just don't want to do it full time, and a whole host of other reasons in between. And we just really think and believe passionately that this can be done. It's not all or nothing. It's not black or white. You can work in an environment that puts your life first, and then work fits within that, and still be able to contribute meaningfully to the world in a way that really inspires the human dignity and respect that we all have for ourselves and for each other. This is our team in September of 2021. With COVID and all of the situations happening, we were having a team lunch at a venue that was partially outside. You can see some folks with masks around their chins. A couple of team members, well, actually, this team member was there. She was just hidden back here, and another team member couldn't make it. However, we do like to get together if we can. And we all have a time value of life story. In fact, the time value of life is one of our core values that we have within AJC. The rest of our values, and really that one as well, are internal values for AJC, as well as the way that we deliver services to our clients. Our first value around communication and responsiveness. Have you ever had that experience where you've asked somebody a question over an email perhaps, and they just aren't getting back to you, and they're not getting back to you, and you don't know, and you aren't sure if you're supposed to respond or follow up or call or whatever it might be? That won't be us with our clients. We are responsive. We communicate, even if the answer is, I don't know, we're still getting back to our clients, and we're doing that with each other as well. As you'll see in the rest of this presentation, AJC has teams, and we will staff teams together, and we need to be responsive to each other. Again, even if it's a quick text, I'm out with my kids this afternoon, I'll get back to you tomorrow, that's fine. We just need to be responsive so that we aren't sitting around waiting for each other. We also really aspire to servant leadership. It is not about us at AJC. We are there to help our clients be successful. We have to put that forward so they will keep asking for us to come back. One of the best ways to make a model like ours work is to deliver amazing work and to let our clients know and feel every day that we have their best interests at heart. And that's the main interest that we have, is truly them and their success. Foster accountability. Clients call us because we help keep their teams accountable. When it's a big project, when there are communications to send, when there's a fierce conversation to be had, or some underlying tension to be voiced, we are the ones that will make sure that that gets discussed or that gets followed up on. We do our own tasks and activities in an accountable manner. We demonstrate this work for our clients so they can learn by example. We also are always looking to improve. So whether it's internal at AJC and doing a video like this to help you understand us a little better before you try and decide if we're a fit for you, or if it's with a client trying to improve or streamline their own processes, or how they communicate, or how they operate in an agile environment, or how they place their people, whatever it might be, we're always looking to improve. And we aren't going to say the 7 most expensive words of business, which is because it's always been done that way. We are looking to make things better. And as I already described, the time value of life, we very much put this at the heart of our business. We know that people have a full life, a whole life, and that having that full life, even outside of work, allows people to contribute even more meaningfully, joyfully, and energetically within a work environment. In the rest of this presentation, I will share with you all about our business model. I'll talk a little bit about where we'd like to take AJC in the future. I would like to share what our customers think of us and what they're saying about us, and some next steps for you. AJC operates a premier consulting practice that offers high-quality, part-time hours consulting services while paying our staff full-time hourly market rates in a supportive, team-based environment, optimizing collaboration and personal growth. What that really translates to for AJC, our consultants work on average about 67 hours a month. And if you think about that in terms of 4 weeks in a month, that's about 15 to 18 hours a month, or excuse me, a week, which is about 35% of a traditional full-time consulting model. Traditional consulting will pay people a salary for full-time work, often billing them at more than 40 hours a week. At AJC, that is not how we operate. At a high level, in general, consulting model has 3 aspects, and we are no different. There's sales, which AJC takes on. There's delivery of the consulting services, which is what our team does with our clients. And then there's all of the business operations that go along with that. In order to sustain our model of 35% of full-time employees, you can imagine that means we're only getting 35% of the revenue that a larger firm would have. So we really have to minimize our overhead expenses. And one primary way we do that is we have a few people on our leadership team, myself and 2 others right now, and we do most of the administrative work. We are doing the preparation of our budgets. We are doing the writing of our handbook. We are doing our payroll. We are figuring out all of the things behind the scenes, paying for the insurance and taking care of the LLC licensing and all of the different work that needs to be done. We take that on. We can't hire or afford to have a lot of administrative staff to do some of those activities. We also really are trying to optimize our business development. And the main way we do this, to be honest with you, is we have to preserve and expand our current business, meaning that we deliver an amazing service to our customers and they will continue to come back for more. And we do that through our amazing team, of course, and also we provide an account manager who is one of our leadership team members to make sure the customer is being satisfied, that we are meeting their expectations, and we don't charge extra for that. That fee comes from our margins, as you'll see in a moment. We also really try to prioritize long-term work, and that to us is about 6 or more months. The longer the better. It just means that we have less work to do to get new business so that we can keep our team occupied at the levels they want to work. We also really try to maximize our passive lead generation. What I mean by that is marketing. We're working on trying to improve our SEO and get more people into our website, onto our LinkedIn, reaching out to us when they think we'll be a fit for them, versus actively trying to go out and solicit new business, because of course that takes a lot of time. Not that we don't enjoy it. In fact, I love doing that. It's super fun. It's just, again, with minimizing overhead expenses and having to take on a lot of hats, it's hard to do a lot of that. So we really need to ensure that we bring on people who are committed to our values, committed to the team, delivering amazing work so that we can continue with existing customers and maximize to expand that business. Is really the primary way we get business. We invoice market rates. We bring on professionals who have experience, who are hardworking, who are independently motivated and self-directed, and we aren't going to undercut our competition. We are able to offer a greater value, we believe, to our clients because we just don't bill for 40 plus hours a week. In fact, I tell customers, really, there's a lot of research that shows people are not productive for 40 hours a week. We just bill you for the time we're actually working for you. And that often sells itself in terms of our model. However, we have to charge market rates because, as I mentioned before, the only thing we're selling right now is billable hours, and that pays for our overhead, which is our leadership team, including the account management, the email, the website, the marketing, all of the other things that we do. So we have to charge market rates. And the last one, as I already described, is we hire professional and experienced team members, people who are self-directed, people who are accountable, people who require minimal management. We don't have time to hire a lot of managers or spend extra time. We need to be doing the work that requires this business to stay afloat. So the people that we bring on board to AJC really have to have this level of professionalism to be able to work with us. So what can our team expect of us? I'd like to go through these points. This is probably the most relevant part to you. We will find work that fits your skills. And right now, I will say we prioritize our current team over new hires. So we will make sure if you are brought on board to AJC that we are putting work in front of you at the level you want to do it before we go and hire somebody new. We will offer to train people. A great example of this is we have a lot of amazing project managers. Anytime you integrate new customization into an ERP system, or you're integrating an entire ERP system altogether, any kind of project requires quite a bit of change management with the end users, for example. And our customers are sometimes mid-market, maybe they can't afford or don't want to pay for two people, a change manager as well as project manager, to help execute the work, or they have someone they could designate as a change manager and they want us to help give them some coaching. Well, we can train our internal project managers to be able to take on some of that work as well, for example. Or if we wanted to facilitate the Working Genius by Patrick Lencioni in the Table Group, which is a model in which I am now certified, I can bring in other people on our team and have them go through the certification process. If we think that's worthwhile for AJC, we can train people. We offer unlimited unpaid vacation. I think that's pretty getting to be more standard, I guess. However, I've talked to people who, maybe their spouse was going to have an extended sabbatical with their job and they wanted to take that time off with them, ask their employer if they could take 2 months of unpaid vacation, and the employer says, no, you can't. You can either maximize your PTO or you can quit, but we're not going to let you do that. And I think that's unfortunate. I feel like people, it's not like you're going to not be great after 2 months of a wonderful, relaxing vacation, rejuvenated. So we offer that. We do ask that if you are taking more than about a week at a time, you let us know while we're doing pre-project negotiation. We always talk with our team about projects we're about to staff them on, making sure it's a fit and going through the proposal with them so they can offer feedback. And at that time, they can say, hey, this is going through the whole summer and I was planning on being gone the entire month of August. Is that going to work? And we can talk about it. As we said before, we offer part-time hourly work and we pay hourly market rates. So what that means is for you, if you say, gosh, I would really love to work 20 hours a week. That is my ideal. I'm willing to work down to 15. I'm also willing to do 30 or even 40 every once in a while. Then we will find work for you that fits your range and try to prioritize exactly what you want. And we'll pay you by the hour. Because we have people who are at maybe the 15-hour a week versus the 30-hour a week schedule, we cannot pay salary. It has to be fair to you and to the customer. So we pay people by the hour for their work. As you're going through a project with us, we do have an account manager. Then that person's job is not only to ensure we are providing value and meeting expectations of the customer, also to provide support to you if you have any concerns through the project. There's something going on in the project. Maybe the project team is under-resourced and you have tried to tell the leader there, but they haven't quite done anything. Or there's an interpersonal situation happening that's really affecting the team on the client's side. Perhaps you have a personal life situation that has come up. We get that, right? And you can bring that to your account manager. We have a team, we can backfill in emergencies, we can help. And that is an offering that is hard to get when you're working on your own. If you're an independent consultant, you won't have that type of team support, and we provide that. Back to the account management, they also will always take our relevant concerns to the client leader, and they ask for feedback on us. So you will know whether you're meeting expectations of the client, because they'll tell us and we will let you know. I will say most of the time the clients are thrilled with our team and we're so pleased. There have been some situations where we've had to make adjustments, and we're happy to do that. And it's nice to have an account manager to be that mediator. It makes it a lot easier and smoother for everyone. We take all that business overhead off your plate. If you work with AJC, you don't have to worry about getting your own insurance, getting your own website, getting your own email, getting your own IT help desk to help with, internal technology issues, and we're all working remotely. So we provide that service as well. We offer healthcare and or dental benefits now. This is new in 2021. We pay 75% and the employee pays 25% if you're an employee and working more than 100 hours a month. As you can imagine, as a small business with 35% of the revenue of a big firm, like I mentioned before, we just can't afford to do this for everyone. However, we recognize that some people do need it. And if you're working less than 100 hours a month, you can, or you're on an unpaid vacation and that particular month is less than 100 hours, and this has happened with us, you can pay the full premium on your own and still get the insurance through AJC. One thing that's not listed here is we do 100% remote work. We work from home. Now, that's not to say that we don't go to the clients sometimes. Given COVID, there's some situations and discretion that needs to be applied. But AJC does not have an office. We don't expect you to show up at 8 a.m. and you can't leave before 5. You're working flexibly from your own home. Which gets us into what AJC expects of our team. This is where I would ask that you please think about what I'm going to say here. Maybe take a screen capture when all the boxes are up. If you feel like these things aren't going to work for you, that's completely understandable. It's fine if you're not a fit for AJC. We're really trying to find people who fit well within our model, and that's why we're trying to do this up front so that we don't waste your time going through all of our recruiting process if you're not going to enjoy working with us. Really, the most important foundational thing is that you're an active fit with our values. Those values I described earlier in this presentation, they're also on our website in our About page. Please feel free to read them. There's a blog linked to every single one with further information and stories and detail. If you're not an active fit with our values, it will not work for you to be at AJC. Also, we really do need you to be able to work what you told us you could work. If you say that you can work 20 hours and you're fine with going up to 40 for a go live week or a testing week every once in a while, we're going to sell work based on that. And if we come to you and say, hey, we found a perfect project for you, it's an ERP implementation, it's 20 hours a week, maybe over the year period you're on it, there'll be 4 weeks of full time because you said you were okay with that, and then you tell us, sorry, I won't do it. That's very challenging. That's very challenging for us. So you do need to be able to do that. And you need to let us know if you're going to be on vacation for longer than a week. Again, we're happy to let our team do that. We just want to make sure the client is served. So we will do that. I will say one thing people ask is, what if the project extends? I said I was available through June and now it's going to go until September and I plan to take July and August off. That is okay. We will make sure the contract ends at the end of June. If the project extends, we can talk to the customer about that. And we're very open. That has happened to us as well. The project was supposed to end at the end of June. Our consultant was taking off July and August, and we just transitioned to another person. And we can easily do that. Just let us know ahead of time what your ramifications and your boundaries are so that we can respect them and we'll all be on the same page. You're willing to work within the contracted hours. So this is an interesting point. When we go to our customers, we say, we think that work could be a floor of 80 hours a month. And then we'll do time and materials over the top. And for you, we're still paying you time and materials. But that way we make sure that the customer has a bit of a budget. And sometimes they'll say to us, okay, but we need you to stay within that 80-hour floor. We can't afford for you to go over it. If you think you're going to be going over it, that's when you need to be in a lot of communication with the account manager, who will go to the customer and say, hey, we're halfway through the month and we're already 65% of the way through our floor hours. How can we, what should we do to handle this last 2 weeks or whatever it is? Here's some ideas we have. We can back it off. You could pay more, but we do need to be very respectful. It's very hard for us if you let us know the second to last day of the month that you exceeded the floor by 20 hours and the customer didn't expect that. We don't like that kind of surprise. Our customers don't like it. So we need a lot of communication and transparency around that. I said this one before, we do work remotely, but we do ask that you are willing to go on site to clients that are within an hour of your metro area. We are mostly in Portland, Oregon, which is the metro area up to Vancouver and Camas, out to Oregon City, down into, I would say, even as south as Wilsonville, out to, Hillsborough. That's within the hour of the metro. So if you're living in Oregon City and we're asking you to go to Hillsborough, well, that's actually still within the customer's expectations, and we're not paying for travel. We're not charging for travel for that. If you're in the Seattle area, we'd ask that you do the same. If you're in another area, the same. There is occasional client work requiring travel. For example, we have a customer on the East Coast right now, and they've asked us to lead some facilitated sessions. They told us in the outset they would like our consulting team to be there about a week, a quarter for the term of the 1-year engagement. And we talked to the team and made sure they were okay with that. You do have the opportunity to tell us, no, I won't do that when we first talk with you, and we won't even consider you for a project like that. However, if you sign up to say, yeah, I'm willing to do it, please still be willing to do it. I will say it's a bit challenging with COVID. Some states have different requirements for masking or distancing or testing or anything like that. We respect the jurisdiction where the work is, where the client is. So if we need to do a bit of homework on a different state to make sure we're comfortable before we agree to this, that's what we do. We ask that you not desire to start a competing business. This is not an easy model. It is done because we love the work and we have a passion for the model. Again, a passion for being able to deliver high value work with part-time hours and have that time value of life. If you're coming to AJC because you want to learn how to run our model so that you can start something that competes with us, I would just respectfully ask, please consider something else. At some point, AJC might franchise. You'll see this later. And at that point, we share the model. Of course, it would be a different way of being compensated. Right now, however, we just want to be able to allow people to do this work, and it's very meaningful to us. So please just look into your heart, I guess, and consider that. You will be signing non-compete and non-disclosure agreements for us. Even if you're on 1099 because maybe you're in a different state and we can't afford to have an employee because of business and sales operation taxes or something in your jurisdiction right away, we ask that you will sign a non-compete. So we put you on clients or any of the other customers with whom we're working and you finish with AJC, you have a term which you can't compete, as well as any work that you do for a client or that's for us, you're not disclosing that at all. We do ask that you review the proposals and possibly even a 15 to 20 minute quick meeting with customers before the engagement, pro bono. The reason for this is we don't want to put you into a contract that you aren't comfortable with. So we ask you to review the proposal so that you know what's being expected, what we're selling to the customer. We actually ask for your feedback. We'll consider that and discuss it with you. We might change the proposal based on what you say. The other thing is sometimes the client wants to meet the person they're going to be working with for the next however long. And we think that's very normal and makes sense. And so we would ask, and we would make sure it's far enough down the road before we waste your time here, but that you would be willing to meet with that customer, likely on a Teams call for about 15 minutes, just so they could meet you. That's part of our sales process. And we haven't won the work yet, so we're not paying for that. Back to the other one as far as non-disclosure, but we want you to share all of the work you do with AJC and or with the client. And of course, you're using either the AJC email we will provide you or the client's email or both for all of your work. And what that means is if you draft a new procedure for the client, it's really the client's work. They are paying for it. So that has to be delivered to them in a timely fashion. And AJC has paid you to do that work, so we actually also need to make sure we have access to it if necessary. So we're asking that you save things in locations that we will designate within AJC's OneDrive, or the customers, maybe they have a SharePoint or a OneDrive or a Google Drive. You're sharing that information freely with them and with us. As far as the email is concerned, please don't use your personal email for AJC work. We need to keep those professional boundaries. The customers will often give us an email address, especially if you're scheduling with any of their team. It's much easier if you have access to their calendars. But what that means is you're not putting your dentist appointment on their calendar. They have every right to look at your calendar because they own your email, as do we. Not that we're doing it. I just ask that people, if you need to be blocked, just put in a calendar invitation with the word block. That's all you need to worry about. And same for our email. The last one is that we ask that people collaborate with our AJC account manager. Like I described before, if the hours are going in some way, if there's any problem, we have regular check-ins with you every week or every other week for 15 to 30 minutes, or anytime you need help. We need to be on top of what's happening so we know what's going on with the customer when we meet with them. I never want to be a company where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. And then we often do staff teams, and if we're in a team, we need to be very open with each other. One person has scheduled a meeting to talk about logistics for a session that's coming up, and then another person goes back to the customer with the same meeting request. That looks bad for us. Again, the left hand not knowing what the right hand is doing. We need to be open and transparent with each other. Also, I think I've said this before, but minimal oversight. We're expecting you to do the work that you need to do without asking every 5 minutes for permission or some sort of review. Bringing things that are problems or questions or escalation that you need, or regular status check-ins, and the times that are needed. All right, thanks for listening to all of that. Now I'm going to share with you where AJC is going. All right, right now we are 100% financed by billables. Although I think I mentioned we try to improve with our training, and therefore we have repeatable services. So from high-touch delivery and training with custom projects that we reinvent each time, which is very difficult to scale, we're moving towards standard processes and services, still high-touch delivery, but medium to low-touch training, repeatable, but still difficult to scale. In the future, we plan to add value-added products to help us scale our services. So we're putting in new forms or new workflows and things like that with information and proprietary ideas that we've come up with and used with customers to make the value to them even better. It will allow for us to do more medium touch delivery. So if we have a person who wants to work 20 hours a week, maybe we could have them do 2 10-hour-a-week projects versus just 1 20. It also improves the training ability, more repeatable. As I said, people can scale to some degree, and eventually it would be wonderful if we can put some of these products on subscription models with recurring revenue that will really help our budgeting and allows us to scale even further. The last thing before I go to this is I did mention there's a possibility AJC would franchise at some point in the future. We do know what it takes to run a business with our model, and I think that there are tons of people out there who could do this, and just because I'm small and can't afford to have an AJC in every state, maybe there are people who could. So we'll think about that. So quickly, what our customers think of us. Their resources were honest about the things we needed to do differently. Without Andrea Jones Consulting, none of the accomplishments were possible. The communication was great and succinct. They've been a great partner. We've been very impressed with the resources they provided us so far. They provided the tools we needed to communicate our COVID-19 work transition to our company effectively. Andrea Jones Consulting's team is very professional and overly communicative. They want to help. They're very willing and able to assist you. So, having listened to all of that, I will ask you to think about, is AJC a fit for you? If so, the next steps for you would be to apply for any open job listings that we currently have on Indeed or LinkedIn, Or you could email us at hr@andreajonesconsulting.com with your resume or cover letter if we don't have something open and you still think you're a fit and you want to be first in the pool when we do put something out there. And please let us know 3 main things. Why does our model resonate with you? What experience do you have that you believe will be of value to our clients? And is your timeline flexible to start work now or maybe in a couple of months? Or do you have any specific constraints? And what are those if so? And if we agree that you're a fit for AJC, we'll respond when we have an opening on our bench and/or for an immediate client need. Really appreciate your taking the time to listen to this. Thank you so much. Have a great day.